Hey.
Hello. Welcome to the Ashley and Gus show. Or the Gus and Ashley show.
This
Come
is
stand with me.
Event Producers Behind the Scenes.
Yay! Boy, has it been an interesting couple of weeks.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy busy.
It is.
So, earlier this
Welcome.
week, thank you for being here. Earlier this week, we had a proposal drop. We were asked to request for proposal.
Contribute to a proposal for an event.
For a multi-day, multi-venue event. And we've done plenty of these. We've done dozens of these. Not dozens. I've done hundreds of them over the years.
I was just about to say.
I've done hundreds of these over the years. It's been a couple years since we've done one.
It's just a little weird when it shows up and it's like, I need this by Friday.
Yeah.
Like,
so
what do you need?
It thought it'd be a good time to share real what goes on behind the event. So here we are. We don't have the contract yet. We're working on the contract. We're working with a foreign agency, which is kind of cool. It's super cool.
It is. They want to do more events.
Yeah, we're not going to mention the space or where it is,
okay.
but the United States
I'm not going to talk about that.
And it's at a premier. You think of the best hotels in the world, it's at one of those hotels.
That's where we're going.
And that's where we're going. That's where it's going. So this proposal gets dropped on our desk. And
what was that,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's simple, straightforward. But when you start thinking about the moving parts.
So part of the moving parts was, for us, we didn't know what part of the event we were to be responsible for. So initially, again,
you wouldn't even have to go that deep over. Just want to say
this. It's like
when
we had like, this is what we're going to do. It's like, okay, but the part that gets funky is when you're like, but this relies on other people. Like, I need to reach out to other people and get information from them so that I can put this together.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So give you the scope of the event. It's a few hundred person event. It's at a premier
property,
4-5-star property in a top city in the United States. It is. It involves a dinner at a museum. So the first question I had, what do we do with transportation? So
and it's like, well, no, my first question was which museum, because so there were. Anyway,
little do we know, some of these decisions were already made. But so anyway, let's just talk about transportation.
Yeah. Okay.
What does transportation look like for an event? You think it's no big deal,
even if it's just a couple of blocks.
Well, but it starts off with 2 days before the event.
I'm just going to hold my paper because I don't have a place to put it.
It starts off 2 days before the event when delegates start flying in. How are we getting the delegates
from the airport
to
the hotel?
And these delegates. They're
delicate delegates.
Delegates.
They do. They need kickbacks.
What? So you got to figure out. They're coming from all over the world.
How many of them need translation?
You need translation is part of it. We need flight numbers. We need names. Is
this we're picking you up in the Sky Hub, or we're bringing
a limo or buses?
Or are they
coming at the same time?
Right? This
is before the event even starts.
Yeah. So it's what is the level of service that these folks need?
Yeah.
What are their expectations? What does the folks who are hosting the conference, what kind of experience are they looking to have?
Right.
And provide for these people.
Then we go back to transportation just in general. We're at the one property, and the people have to go to the other property for dinner, and they have to come back from that property from dinner. What does that look like? Some of them probably will walk, but for the most part, they're not expected to walk.
Yeah.
So we have to for this amount of people, we have to bring in coaches.
So do we get?
So then you have to
the big bus. Do we get the Old Town Trolley? Do we do a bunch of Ubers?
Or
I don't know.
Mercedes-Benz,
cars,
the Mercedes-Benz 26 people sprinters, stuff like that.
So
and multiple of them, because not everybody's going to go at the same time. But then you have to transition the people from the event space into
into the event.
Into the transportation.
Oh,
and then
so right,
and then you have to have somebody on the other end of where the transportation is dropping off to transfer them from that point to that point.
And all I can say is this: if you've ever been to an event where you expect,
and it seems seamless,
you expect this level of service, and it's not there, it's obvious and glaring in the moment that it's not there. You're like, well, where am I supposed to go now? Right, unless you see a sign on the window or somebody standing there saying, oh, come right in.
Typically, you're going to take your help, and you're going to have one helper. And this has been my experience. I don't even know.
Is it for 50?
For 50. For 50. One for 50 is usually how we work the numbers. So if there's 50 people getting on a bus, we're going to need one person directing them, event staff, to get them to that one or the other. Then you're going to need that one person. And it could be that same person riding the bus over to the venue and handling the next task.
And then ushering. And then they get the folks off the bus or whatever vehicle. And then as you're walking into the venue where you're having the dinner, it's, how many people do you need there to just be directional. It's literally directional. People just standing there with a smile on their face.
And answering questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time's dinner?
I don't know.
I have a food allergy. Will they take care of that?
No. You're going to die.
Well, we have an app for that.
I don't mean to make a joke about that. Event. We actually take that very seriously.
We actually have it. The event app we're going to be using for this app. Should we get this contract? What has that in there?
That has so that we can get that information in advance. We will know every person in
there, what's going on.
What we did find interesting, having traveled internationally a few times in the last few years, they don't seem to be as they don't cater to it.
They still smoke in restaurants
as much. So I was not making light of food allergies
there's no gluten free. There's no.
Yeah, they don't put signs up. You're even like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. I think that's meat.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah, pretty much.
If
you need like a separate diet, you should have just arranged all of that yourself.
And that's why in foreign countries we use most event professionals are using the big names like the Hyatts and the Marriotts
because they're more consistent and it's easier to
consistent brand
like that. But anyway, so
what was the next thing we had here? That was only the number one transportation question we had.
Right. Yeah, well, that was the one that you brought
up. What night for the dinner? We didn't know what night it was.
Well, then there was also so I had started off with the question because I didn't know that this was already booked. Are the dates flexible in case the location that they wanted? So they had a preferred hotel, and so my question was, all right, if they don't have the space for you available on the dates that you want, do you want different dates, or are the dates less flexible and we go to a different location?
So here's
part of it. So when then literally, if you're planning even a baby shower or an anniversary dinner, there's just, if you've ever done this, and especially if you've done a wedding, there's just so many components.
There's a list of 14 things on here that was beyond just the scope of the contract itself.
Yes.
So there's multiple breakout rooms. Do you need AV in the breakout rooms? If you ever go to a conference or a concert, if you go to a concert that has multi-artists, a lot of times they have different AV for the artists. We went to the Pitbull, Ricky Martin, and Enrique Iglesias. They had three different boards. They were probably using the same speakers, but they were using different light.
They obviously had the same stage, but there was in between acts, they were bringing in different crews and different stuff. So you have this is Ricky Martin's amp. Well, okay, but this is Pitbull's amp. So there's not everything's moving on and off the stage all the time. So it's interesting.
But so this individual event has breakout rooms and it has a dinner. And so do we need AV for the breakout rooms? We do. So an AV for the breakout rooms, as small as it might be, it's still probably a $5,000 rental for 2 days.
Right.
And we're going to have multiples of these breakout rooms. Even as simple, you don't think about it, but if you go to a dinner, a formal dinner, and somebody is up there addressing,
they need a microphone.
You need a microphone.
You need
a stage. You need a soundboard.
You need a riser or something for them to stand on.
You need somebody monitoring
They might have a presentation, even if it's 2 slides, or some branding slides.
Now you need an LED wall or a drop.
Come over closer.
You need an LED wall or a drop screen, and then you have to drape that out. And this is for each one of the breakout rooms.
It gets really
And then you need somebody to set that up, monitor, and all that stuff.
laden with
What was the next
details.
thing I had?
Yeah, I was going to say you're way better on top of this than I
Oh,
am.
so we had this answer too, but what level of dinner? Is this if you were going to do this event in Baltimore, do you want to do crabs and crab cakes and burgers for our non-shellfish friends?
This one sounds very formal. So, but literally, it could be anything from having everybody grab their own plate and walk through.
And we've been to plenty of these. You and I have
Sure.
been to plenty of these events, especially in this industry, and multi-day, 3-4 days. Sometimes it's mixed up. Sometimes you have a really formal dinner, and other times you have like in Florida you might have like a tiki island feel with fresh seafood and really cool.
Which is great because they can really incorporate the personality of the location into the food and make that.
And on top of that, what's the budget? Each one of you. If any of you have gotten married and you know how much that catering costs,
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Put some more zeros on the end of it.
And then you're like, maybe Uncle Fred doesn't need to come, but he does. But at least he needs to be invited. So so we
are they serving alcohol? I mean, that's a question.
It's an important question to ask.
If you're serving alcohol, you might need an additional rider on your insurance.
Oh, you're so good at this.
I mean, this is where. So I've probably mentioned this before. Ashley and I have distinct roles in the company of producing events. Ashley,
I don't worry about writers. I just ask when it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you produce the event. You bring in the speakers. You set the agenda. You pretty much handle all the attendees.
All of the intellectual content of the conference pretty much runs through me, and then I facilitate it when we're on.
My thing is I keep the ice cold. The reality is I make sure every detail is where it needs to be and how it needs to be.
And then by the time he gets the ice, he can enjoy it.
Oh, it's funny. This morning.
What happened?
I had a pineapple in my hand, and it was from Chiquita pineapple. And last week
Gus told a really cute story. It wasn't last week; it was the week before. So about 2 weeks ago, we were in Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
and we saw the Chiquita boat, big cargo ship coming into
Fort Lauderdale. And Gus was like, "Hey, I bet they have the pineapples that we just
pineapples, bananas on there."
Okay,
so I was holding the pineapple this morning. I said, "Yeah, this pineapple could have been on that boat."
My son bought us a pineapple from Trader Joe's.
I said the pineapple could have been on the boat.
That could have been
2 weeks ago.
That boat.
And then got on a train and moved up, and then got on a truck, and then went to Trader Joe's warehouse.
Attention to logistics, and the more you do, the more you kind of understand why things cost what they do. But so then there were parts of our program that we were handed and more questions. So for this dinner, do we need to have a special decoration, special decor? Is there a speaker? If
we have 300 people for dinner, that's going to be minimally 30 tables of 10.
Which
probably
is
more realistically
more likely to be tables of 8 because tables of 10 get really cramped.
But so each, and
that takes a lot of space.
It takes a lot of space. But each one of those tables needs to have proper decor on it.
They need to be set correctly. They need to have the proper linens.
This particular event's going to have.
It's going to be nice.
Assigned seating and name tags.
Right. So if
somebody's got to make the name tags.
If people don't show up, so similar to setting tables for your guests at a wedding. Sometimes you don't want Uncle Bob sitting next to Uncle Fred.
And sometimes you want to put Uncle Fred next to Uncle Bob just to see what happens.
But
alcohol at it.
Okay. So then, but part of what is expected for the special dinner that this event is going to have is making sure that the tables are set properly with the people, that the people are arranged basically. And if you have people who cancel, you don't want someone sitting at the table all by themselves, so you have to move people around. It gets kind of complicated.
Along those same lines.
Entertainment. We asked them if they needed entertainment.
And where do you need entertainment?
And what kind of entertainment? I mean, should we get the band?
Think about this.
DJ.
Have you ever been to even a wedding? So I had this at a wedding where we had a harp playing.
Oh, lovely.
And then we had a classical guitar playing, and then we had the DJ, and we had a live band, and What time's the harp
Wait.
playing?
That was all at one wedding?
My wedding, yeah.
Oh.
What time?
I wasn't there.
But what time? What time does the harp start playing? What time do you want the classical guitar playing? What time do you want the DJ and the band playing? And how do you mix that back and forth?
Absolutely.
And that goes under a thing called run of show.
Yes.
Even for a wedding, you might have a run of show on what the times. When are we cutting the cake? When are we?
That way, everybody's literally on the same page in terms of the schedule and what's happening at what time. And these are things that if you don't normally do this, you would be like, I don't know, whatever.
And if you're a wedding planner, and I'm not a wedding planner. I've done it a couple times. In my opinion, the wedding planner's job is to allow the bride first, and then the groom, and then the bride's mother to have a flawlessly fun day.
Absolutely.
And the bride shouldn't even have to worry about the run of show. It should be, hey Ash.
We're going to do this
in
now.
6 minutes, we're going to cut the cake.
Which is exactly what somebody did. So I had
exactly,
a handler. No, my mother had. I
had a handler at my wedding.
I told her, I said, do whatever you like. Throw the wedding you wished you had thrown for yourself because I know all of it. And yeah, I had somebody just kind of dart in front of me. Hey, Ashley, now we're going to go do this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Here's a big one.
Yeah.
And this comes to weddings too, but even on this bigger event, signage.
Yes.
You need directional signage. At the minimum, you need directional signage.
Right.
A lot of times a hotel will provide that, or the venue will provide that.
Yes.
But then on top of that,
sometimes they don't.
Do you need sponsor signage? Do you need host signage?
I want our wedding to be sponsored by somebody.
Do you need QR codes for promotional products throughout the day?
Ooh.
Do you need signage going back to the transportation?
Yep.
Buses here.
Buses, yeah. If you came in on bus number 14, you're going back on bus number 14. And then goodie bags, right? So almost every event you go to these days has some kind of swag bag or a wedding favors.
I've had my share of goodie bags, let me tell you.
They take time.
They take time.
To
they take
put
room.
Together. Even if you're, no matter how you slice it, putting making sure everything is in their place and done correctly. It's not something.
So what happens? What happens with you say goodie bag? We'll call it a VIP bag. A lot of times
swag
a swag bag.
Yes.
Let's say you're doing a VIP swag bags for 300 people.
That's a lot.
Here's something we got in a swag bag.
Okay. Oh, this is
nice. This is a speaker. We got this in a swag bag.
It's nice.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
It's got a little bit of weight to it.
But it really is.
They probably come 20 to a case. You need 60 of those cases for a 300-person event.
So from a logistics standpoint, you need to make sure that you're getting them delivered early enough.
You need 300 bags. That's probably
you need enough
6
space
cases of bags
to put all of these
bags.
And
you need enough people to drop all the stuff in.
People to drop all of the things
and
in.
You can't do this on the floor of the event. You got to do this in a back room someplace, and then you got to pull. And then
you got to make sure that room is secure because you've got nice swag. So somebody's going to want to grab it.
Are you putting the bags out before the event, during the event, as people leave the event? And they can't sit there before that. And you have to find a place to put them.
Yep. It's kind of like those balloons you were talking about.
Yeah, so balloons.
Tell them the balloons.
So balloon story. So we did a promotion one time where we had 100 custom balloons made up on this opening. And I'll even mention the name. My former partner, Brett Silver, when we owned Social Philly in Philadelphia, we did a grand opening of a pet store called Doggy Style.
Cute.
And we had balloons, custom made, beautiful balloons in the colors of the company. And Brett sold this idea to the customer, and I said to Brett, how are we getting the balloons to the venue? And Brett's like,
what do you mean?
They need to float. I had done balloons before. You need a helium tank to be delivered to the venue. You need someplace at the venue to blow up balloons and make that work. You need somebody to do that. In this case, it was me. It took about an hour to inflate 100 balloons. And let me tell you, balloons are an easy way and an inexpensive way to
draw attention.
Decorate
they're
too.
Fun.
To decorate. It's a really inexpensive way to
okay.
decorate, and it gives height to an event. So you have balloons at different heights. It creates a ceiling and a feel inside. Just don't let them go outside because they're environmental.
Yeah, and you don't want them hitting power lines, even though the Mylar ones. Anyway.
Here was another thing.
Yeah.
registration.
Yes.
Register. We have Ashley and I use 3, sometimes 4 different registration systems.
So this is for people who are registering to say, yes, I'm RSVPing to your event and I'm planning to attend.
Before that even happened, there's paper invites on this event.
Okay, so somebody's being sent an invitation to attend this event.
You need a guest
so
list.
That. Then you have, yes, I plan to attend and have that stored somewhere. Then that information gets sent over to the name badges. So those are made up so that when you're at the event, you can get your name badge and your credentials.
Name badge needs to be
printed.
Go
ahead. I'll wait.
In our world, this is from our last event. We had a custom made name badge.
Yes.
We had a custom lanyard for our company. These have to be ordered minimally 2 months in advance.
To get them delivered on time.
To get them delivered on time.
Even remotely on time.
And then you have to manage the logistics of the delivery. Are they coming to your home office? Then how are you getting them to the hotel? And then where are they going to be stored at the hotel prior to the event?
I know this sounds like a lot. Because it is. And that's it.
We had stuff 3 times delivered to hotels and never got to us.
Correct. So that's why I was just about to say we had branded materials that we had ordered and just said we'll have it sent to the hotel and that'll make it easy. Except they didn't show up. Or
it showed up and never got to us.
They got delivered, but they got delivered to the wrong room, and whoever received all of those nice.
We were at an event one time, and I was expecting to see a lot of people walking around the pool with our swag on.
Oh my gosh! And then even business
cards, which kind of been pretty fun. Business cards.
We even had business cards sent to us so that we could have them ready for us at the trade show that we were attending, and of course they got lost in the black hole of the. Shipping and receiving.
That was at Mandalay Bay, and I'll just. It's a big space.
It is, but yeah, we were a little frustrated. We had another
time we had another time in another big Vegas property that our stuff was delivered, and they never delivered to valet, never delivered to valet. It was delivered to valet, and it was sitting in the valet's office.
That was at the Hard Rock.
No.
Yeah, in Vegas.
No, it was the Rio.
Pretty sure it was the Hard Rock.
I'm pretty sure it was the Rio.
Okay.
It might have been the Hard. No, you're right. It was the Hard Rock.
Yeah. Anywho. We like the Hard Rock, although it's not there anymore.
They're a bigger, better one.
It's going to be even better. We're really excited. But yeah. So basically, this is the stuff. So we now, seasoned conference event professionals, try to get as much sent to us in advance so that we know, and then we're in more control of it.
One thing we
pack it up and then send it to the event.
Everything we talked about here was physical for this event. There's a whole communication that goes on today via email, text, and app.
Sure.
To keep the attendees informed of what's happening and what time it's happening. We haven't even talked about the agenda on this event.
Right.
To run a show, the graphics, the...
Yep. Yep. And so you've got the communication that happens between the attendee and the company that's hosting the event. Which is obviously very important. You want to make sure they feel welcome.
Lunch is at 12:15.
Well, but even in advance of that, even if, like, here's where to make your hotel reservation, or if you need us to help make it for you, or just we're looking forward to seeing you and managing your logistics from that. The breakfast will start on, in this room on this day at this time. Okay, so you have that. Well, then usually the staff has a different communication tool to make sure that everything's coordinated on the from the back scene. So usually that's a like WhatsApp. You'll put a WhatsApp group together. Everybody's on it. It's like a walkie-talkie, except everybody's seeing each other's messages.
And on a big event, we've seen this on a 6,000 person event. They have multiple WhatsApp channels. WhatsApp channels. WhatsApp channels. WhatsApp.
Yes.
Is that a Microsoft product? No.
No, I don't think so.
WhatsApp. They have multiple WhatsApp channels for one for AV, one for the stage, one for attendees, one for the sales staff.
You've got these multiple circles of communication chats going so that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
In terms of making sure that things are getting done, and then of course if you see if you see the person running through with a clipboard and on the phone and looking like they're about to cry, that's probably the conference organizer. Right. So what else do we have? Then there's sponsors. I mean, if you have multiple sponsors for a specific event, you need to make sure each one of them feels welcome, that each one of them has the same level of service and expectations.
And here's the truth.
Yes.
Each person at the event is the most important person at the event.
They are.
So you have to cater
to everyone.
Right?
Exactly. And you have to make sure that everybody feels like they're being taken care of, because there's nothing worse than being out of your element. You're away from home, you're in a different, even if you think that you're really good at being, I travel all the time, I go to events all the time, but the more you're taken care of when you're at an event.
Yeah. And I mean, because each person at the event, no matter who they are, has invested minimally their time to be there.
Exactly.
And it's not just the time they're there, it's the time it took to get there, the time they took to get out of there.
And it's the time they took away from being
something else.
They could be away from their families, they could be away from friends, they could be away from their job, and they're just not feeling whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be like they got pulled away from something they really adore. It's just their normal routine. And when you get pulled away from your normal routine, that's a good thing. But you need a little TLC. You need a little kid gloves there. So what else do we have?
There's probably 100.
Then there's the whole on-site. So we are. Another thing that we do is make sure that we have enough staff when we're on site. You are an on-site specialist. That's why my events got better when I dragged you into my business.
I see something happening. I see a problem before it occurs when it comes to events.
He's like that guy on Men in Black. What was his? Anyway. So, but it's true. And he can see something coming up in advance and just kind of like,
And it might even be something as simple as, if you ever walk, go back to the event we were at back in March, was it April or March?
I don't know which event you're talking about.
At the Diplomat. 6,000 people at this event. There are, when there was no one at the event and we were walking the space, it's a huge space. You put 6,000 people in the space, it becomes very compact.
Right.
The elevators or the escalators had to be throttled by security because there were so many people.
Too much weight on them.
Yeah, coming up and down.
So from a safety perspective, I'm assuming that's why.
It could take like 10 minutes to get down the escalator.
Sorry, we figured out where to grab the elevators. We're much faster.
Yeah, but those pain points.
It was that kind of thing.
You don't see coming. I see that stuff.
So when you have a group of 250, 300 people going to lunch at the same time, and they're gonna, the catering staff needs to drop foods the second that the table gets full.
And what they do, and so a quick solution for that. They should have had security saying, "Hey, there's steps there if you want to take that, and there's elevators down there, and there's other escalators around the corner."
Exactly.
And that's a pain point reliever. One of my favorite pain point relievers. So, event ends, happy hour begins. You have X amount of people rushing the bar.
Yes.
Then you
always have a drink pre-made and
champagne and beer are simple.
Exactly.
You have somebody
just
catering.
Have pre-poured just a few minutes.
I don't even have any
beforehand.
glasses of champagne, but you can have 10, 12 glasses of champagne.
Yeah, and as soon as you just greet them with
every person grabs a champagne glass is not going to the bar.
They're not racing to the bar immediately. So you're giving your bartenders a little bit of cushion there. And, the people who want specialty drinks are the ones who are going to go straight to the bar. And that's fine, and some folks are going to just like...
Well, not everybody drinks, but in the same token, though, you get a...
That's another thing, too. You can also make sure that you have, like, water and sodas or something sitting aside. So, again, those people don't have to wait in line for the bartender.
Same thing with, especially if you have a long day. Actually, I tend to eat late, so this doesn't usually affect us. But the event ends at 6 p.m. There's a lot of people who like to eat at 5:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
they're starving at this moment.
Yeah.
So an elegant event, you can have something really, but even something as simple like a less expensive thing would be. I hate pigs in a blanket, but people still do them.
I know,
But
and
meatballs,
now they do them with like fun little. They use like phyllo dough instead, or
but having those
like
quick hors d'oeuvres that
yes,
can pop
absolutely.
in.
That's got just the right amount of protein and carb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that eases into dinner or eases your rest of your appetizers when
they skim it. Yeah, we've seen.
I've seen people grab the appetizer serving plate and sit down with a knife and fork. I swear to God, and it's just like,
my goodness.
are you effing
like,
kidding me?
Okay, wait, that's for everybody. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we hope that
we've seen stuff.
Yeah, we have. You have any other stories in there you want to
I have
share?
so many stories.
I know.
Most of them are not appropriate. And,
okay, well then we'll do a whole different one for that.
We should do that. We should do the inappropriate.
Yeah, we should.
Show one day.
We should do it later at night.
We should. I was just thinking. I was do that later.
R-rated.
The stuff that we have seen at events that.
Yeah.
And the funny part is,
maybe we should write the book first.
The funny part is, you usually see that developing. It almost
hours in advance.
It almost always involves alcohol, and you see it developing way before that.
We even had a story not too long ago when we were at our venue. Yeah. Anyway, we'll tell you that one later too. It was kind of sad, but kind of funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other tricks or tips we want to impart here? Just to say this.
There's always way more going on when you ask any event planner.
Exactly. There's always so much more going on behind the scenes than you think.
And here's something we don't even talk about now. I used to do this, but I don't do it anymore. The catering staff. They're working their asses off too to make it look flawless and beautiful, and the food and everything. You know, and they're in the same boat. They need one server per 50 people. They need one bartender for 50 people. They need one captain for
and people
7
are rushing over
servers.
to them and saying, "I'm the one who needs a vegetarian meal."
And the meal gets delivered, and the steak's not the right temperature.
I
don't eat seafood. I know I eat vegetarian. You didn't fill it out.
I forgot to tell. I'm sure
Thank you.
But do you have a pasta meal in the back? Or something that's gluten free. And I think servers are probably, because they're frontline, they're more used to it now than they ever were before. But it's frustrating as an event producer when
you get the back of the house people.
We don't know. Well, that's it.
You get the back of the house people.
Yeah.
The chef and their team in catering.
They just
trying to get out. Whether it's 50 meals or we've seen 5,000 meals at the same time or within like a 10, 12-minute period.
Well, that's it too. So then those exceptions, which happen, of course, but when they're not planned exceptions, then it's just that much harder for them to absorb, because they're just like, okay, wait. I'm stopping the 5,000 because 2 people needed this, or something. It's tough. So
I asked for no onions.
Yeah. Okay. Really? Yeah. Just put them on the side. Yeah.
I hate arugula.
Yeah. Gus is not having a good time these days because everybody puts arugula on sandwiches.
Boston's the worst.
Were they? Do they have arugula and everything?
Boston, I
didn't know that.
We've got arugula.
I like arugula, so I'm like, okay, just give me your arugula. It doesn't ruin your food.
I hate ruined my food, but
okay, well that's fine. Anyway, it's fine.
We'll have that conversation later.
Yes. Oh my God, guys! Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions or crazy stories you want to throw right into the comments, we look forward to it.